Hello everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. It's Beer Monster o'clock. And I hope you've all had a great weekend so far. We're coming towards the end, it's Sunday. So tonight I'm going to be doing a cheap one. Because nobody's got any bloody money, have they? Because everything's gone up like crazy. I can barely afford to feed me bloody kids because they want like £8 for 20 odd fish fingers or whatever, bird's eye ones. It's crazy, isn't it? So I thought we'd try and do a nice cheap one. For those of you who fancy a beer, everybody deserves a beer after a hard day's work or on a Sunday in the sun. For those who've not got much money, you've got to review the cheap ones as well. We can't afford to go out there and drink all the premium, expensive beers and craft beers that are £4 or £5 a can. A lot of people just want a cheap beer that tastes okay. So that's the aim of this video. Hopefully we can find something that's cheap and okay. And already, before I get into this, a super good supermarket own brand lager is the Asda one. The Asda Pilsner, that's 5%. I recommend that one if you're struggling for money and you just want a decent beer. It's not going to blow your mind or anything like that. But honestly, I buy it quite regularly if I just want a cheap few cans of lager. It does the job. It's really not so bad. And I thought I'd try to give Morrisons one a go. Now, I didn't buy the cheapest one. I sort of went up a notch and I got their premium strength lager. It's just Morrison's premium export lager. The can don't look so fancy, does it? But if it makes it cheaper, because I think it's £3.39 for a 4-pack, which these days is quite cheap because it's 4.8%. A lot of the supermarket lagers, like if it's like 2% or whatever, your normal sort of drinker's not going to buy that, even though it may be £1 for 4 cans or whatever. That's not a beer, is it? 2%. At least this one's like respectable ABV. So they did have a slightly cheaper one that was like £2.50 for 4 cans, but it was like 3% or something like that. So I thought, no, we'll go for this one, more realistic one. I think most people are going to want a 4+ strength beer, aren't they? It's 440ml can, this one. As I say, you can only buy it in 4 packs, unless there's like one in the bargain bin where it's split off from the rest of the pack or whatever. Anyway, I'm waffling on and on. Let's crack it open and see if we can find something decent. See if we can top that Asda one. That Asda Pilsner, that's 5%, which I do really like that. It's a good sign as well. Well, good sign, but a bad thing is that quite often when I go in Asda, do my weekly shop, I think I'll grab a couple of them for a rainy day. And quite often they haven't got any, which is why when they have got them, I'll pick a few 4-packs up. But yeah, I think a lot of people are catching on to that one, being decent value for money. Because the Asda one, they're 500ml cans as well, and they're 5%, and I think they're cheaper than these as well. So yeah, cracking deal. Anyway, this is about the Morrisons beer. As you can probably tell, so far my sort of favourite supermarket beer that I've tried is the Asda, but I've not tried many. This one could top it. Don't know who it's brewed by or anything like that, it doesn't say. But obviously somebody's partnered up with Morrisons. We've got a lot of head. Quite a frothy looking head, for sure. As you can see. It's been a hot day today. I'm a little bit beetroot red. So sometimes you just want something refreshing. Not too worried about how much it costs. That is a rather frothy head, very white head. To be honest, beer in the glass, you can see it. What do you think? I think that looks quite respectable. It looks okay, got good levels of carbonation, kind of a clear golden colour. It don't look too sad, does it? For a supermarket beer that's brewed by God knows who, don't look too bad. Now, this is where it could go wrong on the taste and the aroma. Let's find out, shall we? Let's check out the aroma of this beer. Let's see if it's any good. If I can get past that froth. Right, there's a sweetness to it. There is a sweetness to this one. Not a particularly nice sweetness, like a kind of syrupy glucose syrup sweetness for me. It smells grainy. A little bit leafy. One good thing, a lot of the time with these sort of cheap supermarket beers, or just beers, lagers in the can in general, they can be a bit metallic. Not really getting that on the aroma anyway. I even got a slight hint of that on the Asda one, which I still liked, but not really getting it with this one. Anyway, it's all about the taste, isn't it? You don't just sit around sniffing your beer all day, do you? Oh yeah, mate, smell that, it's lovely. If it tastes like crap, who cares what it smells like, you know? Anyway, cheers everybody. Oh, yeah, I've knocked my camera a bit wonky. So, that's better. Right, let's give it a go. It's not that bad. It's not that good. It does taste a little bit cheap. I've got to be honest, it's not a miracle beer. But first impressions, it's drinkable. It's perfectly drinkable. Sort of light body as you'd expect from a lager. Somewhat refreshing. It's wet. 4.8%, you're not getting that at all with the alcohol. To me, it tastes more like a 4% or like a 3.8, or like you're drinking something like a, I don't know, something the sort of strength of Foster's or something like that. Quite a light feel to the carbonation. All right, let's get into the flavours. It's a little bit watery. That's my first. Let's get the negative ones out of the way. It's a little bit watery. But then, you know, it's the only beer guilty of that. This is a bit watery, and the sweetness isn't for me. It's not massively sweet, but the sweetness tastes a little bit glucosey, little bit chemically, a little bit artificial. It's not like nice caramel malts or anything like that. It just tastes a little bit artificial, gotta be honest. But apart from that, it ain't too bad. You got a bit of corn as well. It's a sort of, it's not massively sweet. I'd say it's a sort of semi-sweet lager. It's not too sweet for me. I just don't particularly like the flavour of the sweetness in this beer for some reason or other. It's grainy. It's very basic. I mean, well, it's a supermarket lager. It's got to be basic, isn't it? But is it drinkable? If you ain't got a lot of money, yeah, it is. It is drinkable. Would I rather drink this over a 4-pack of Foster's that might cost me about £1 extra? Yeah. Would I rather drink this over Carling? That would probably cost me about £1 more. Yeah. Would I rather drink this over Carlsberg? That would cost me more. Yeah. Not the export, but the original Carlsberg. You know, so my point is, you know, this isn't a great beer. This is a very average beer, perhaps a little bit below average, but there's plenty of beers like that out there that people are drinking, and just because it's got Foster's or Carlsberg written on it, they think it's better than this, but actually it's not. So yeah, it's one of them ones. It's not that great, but we've even got a little bit of lacing on there. Look. It's not that bad, is what I'm trying to say. I am getting a slight metallic taste in here, but I'll get that with Foster's. I'll get that massively with Carling, you know. So yeah, it's a bit, yeah, it's not a great beer, but it's better than many of the macro beers that people are drinking all the time, like, you know. So it's probably even better than Bud, and you know, but that ain't great. So yeah, make of that what you will. I'm just giving you my opinion. It's that sweetness. It's a shame about that sweetness. It does ruin it a bit for me. As far as score goes out of 10, there's a little tinny bitterness on the end as well, very slight. Yeah, it's not a good beer. I'd give it a 5 out of 10. But then I think I gave like Foster's a 4 or 5 out of 10. I think I gave Carling like a 3 or something like that. You know, so despite the fact it is getting a 5, it is still better for me than some of the other mass produced beers. So anyway, give it a try, see what you think, especially if you're on a budget. You know, if you've got your 4-pack of Fosters in your hand or whatever, which is as cheap beer as it is, and you're sort of happy with it, save yourself a quid, give that a try. You might prefer it. You might prefer it. It's drinkable anyway, you know. And anyway, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. If you could hit that like button, I'd really appreciate it. Let me know if you'd like me to try some more of these like budget beers, and maybe do a comparison, a face-off between a few of the supermarket budget beers, and see if we can perhaps find the ultimate budget busting beer for us poor people out there. Anyway, consider subscribing to the channel as well, guys. I'd really appreciate it. Chat to me in the comments. You know, I'll reply to every single one of you, and talk about beer, preferably, or whatever you like. And till the next one, guys. Bye-bye, darlings.